Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I came across a story this morning. It's on TMZ, and I'll have the link right down below. It's about Britney Spears and her brother moving in with her. It also talks about Britney Spears breaking up with her latest boyfriend. But the part I wanted to focus on was Britney Spears' brother moving in with her. I believe he's younger than her, and she's in her 40s, and it reminded me a lot. It's kind of ironic because I've been thinking a lot about my relationship with my little sister. My sister, I'm 58 years old. My sister is 6 years younger than me, which would be 52 years old. And it's ironic because just lately I had a conversation. I was recently at an NA meeting, and after the meeting, I was sitting around, standing around having a coffee, and I was talking to some other people, and we were talking about the biggest plus, the best thing that has come out of our recovery. And this just came out naturally. It was the first thing that popped into my head. Is my relationship, the way that I feel so blessed that I've been able to fix or recover or make better my relationship with my mother and my sister. Every week, as a matter of fact, today I'm actually going out. I'm taking my mother out once a week. I try to take her out to coffee and donuts at Dunkin' Donuts. She's 80 years old, and I love her to death. And my little sister, I just went camping with for 4 days. It was just me and her for the first 3 days, and we went camping on the 4th of July. And I just think about how I am blessed to have recovered this relationship with my family. Let me start at the very beginning here. My father passed away when I was 9 years old. My little sister was only 3 years old. So it was me, my mother, and my little sister after my dad passed away from terminal brain cancer back in 1975. And I look back at the pictures. Maybe I'll use some of these on the thumbnail. And in the years after, we were living at this state house. It's a log cabin ranch house that we used to live at in the park. My father was the park ranger. He played Smokey the Bear in the firemen's parades and stuff like that. And we were still living in the park. And there's these pictures of this. She was a tiny little thing. There's pictures of me when I was 10, 11, 12. And in every picture, there's this little girl looking up at me, following me around, and I look back at these pictures and my heart, I swear to God, my heart just explodes with love. The way she looks at me in these pictures, this tiny little girl. And I feel so thankful that I've been able to fix, to mend our relationship. Back then, when I was a young kid, I didn't really think much. It was kind of a drag having my little sister follow me around. If I had a friend over or whatever, having my little, my sister who was 6 years younger than me follow me around. But now I look back, and like I said, my heart explodes with love. I talked in another video, as we got older, and I started drinking and using, our relationship got a lot more rocky. My sister never used, and I made sure she never used. I actually started dealing. And I warned all the people around me, don't ever let me catch you giving my sister anything, or come to me and tell me if anybody offers her anything. And I think, she never wanted to because she saw what those substances did to me, and so she never used. But she was an average teenager, and she drank. And it made for a very tumultuous relationship in our teens, in our 20s. In our teens, I kind of just went my own way. And there's so much that happened in our teens that I don't even remember, because I kind of had my own life, dating and everything like that. And that's why I'm so thankful now that I have this mended relationship. I did a video where I talked about the one time where I actually got arrested and went to jail. And I came home intoxicated and high one night, and my sister had friends over drinking. We were sharing a house. We were renting it from my mother, and I just wanted to go to sleep. It was like 3 a.m, and we ended up getting in a physical altercation. I've never laid a hand on a woman, and me and my sister got into it. And she's only 5'1". I'm 6'3", and she was just swinging at me, and I held her against the wall. And she was just she was like a tornado. And I just wanted to go to bed. And I told her, if you don't stop this, I'm going to freaking off you. And she called the cops. the cops came over, and I was already in bed. And the cops all stood around my bed, and they kept asking me, "What did you say to your sister? What did you say to your sister?" And I finally sat up and just said, I said I was gonna freaking off her, and I wasn't really gonna do that, but I didn't finish that sentence before they had me in handcuffs and brought me to jail. And you know, there was no trust. I used to steal. I used to, do all this other stuff, and she couldn't trust me in the house. And our relationship was very fractured. The relationship what I had with my mother was one where I just sought her out at her job. She was a post lady. She was a mail delivery lady. And this is up till that time I was 40 years old. I would go find her on the route every single day, and I'd make up some lie. "Oh, Mom, I need money for the dentist today." And I would hit her up for 50 to $100 every single day or more. And now we could kind of look back and we could kind of laugh about it. She's like, "Daryl, I could, how much money I would have in the bank right now if you hadn't done that." But over the last 17 years and 8 months or 9 months, I've been able to mend this relationship. And just in the last week, this made me feel so good. There was 2 instances where I was able to give back, to help a little bit. When me and my sister went camping, I actually did a video on this if you look back at the 4th of July. The first day we went camping, it was very windy, and we were sitting after we just set up the camper, and the wind, I heard metal screeching, and the wind ripped the awning off the camper. It tore it backwards, and it was just me and my sister, and it's her camper, and I looked over at her, and she was just distraught. There was no way you could drive this camper. It was, it was covering the door. It was unusable. And I knew it was all up to me at that point, so I got up immediately. And I've had hip surgeries and back surgeries. I'm in good physical shape, but I'm 58 years old, and I actually climbed up on top of the camper, and I have managed to take it down, to get the awning back down. Almost ended up in the hospital myself. And I fixed it, so she was able to drive home, and I saw the look on her face, and it was just, it felt so good, being the big brother again, even at this age, I was there for her, and she talked about this. We sat around the campfire later, and she said to me, she said, "Daryl, I've never told you this, but I'm so proud of you for the last 18 years. I've never said this, but I am so proud of you being clean and sober." And that just, I can't even put into words what that means to me. I remember talking to a doctor back 20 years ago when I was in a detox, and he said, "Daryl, why do you want to get clean? Really? Why do you even want to get clean? It's not working. You've been in here 13 times. Why do you even want to get clean?" And I remember saying to him, I said, I want to spend time with my family while I still can. Because even back then, when I was 40 years old or 38, I realized that time is running out. Time goes by faster and faster as we get older. And the last thing in this world that I wanted was to continue using and have something happen to my mother or my sister and have them leave this world and still be using, to not have them see me clean and sober. And that was one of the main reasons back then, 20 years ago, when that doctor asked me the question. That was my main reason for getting clean and sober. When my father passed away when I was 9 years old, I remember him telling me, when he was laying in the hospital bed with the scars on his head where they cut into brain cancer, and he said, "Daryl, you're the man of the family now." I was only 9 years old, and I took that to heart. And here's the other thing. My mom called me up last week, and she's 80 years old, and she's not very technically savvy. And it was it's her husband, Bill, who I get along with great now too. And they're not technically savvy, and they just bought a new TV, and they had no idea how to hook it up. Because, the first thing it says is you have to go and get on your cell phone. On the TV, when you plug it in, a new TV, it says you got to get on your cell phone and get an app. And they just, they had no idea what to do, so they called me. This is just last week. And I went, and it was out of the blue. And my mom was a little hesitant because she knows I have my own life, and it's in the afternoon. I get up so early, I tend to fall asleep early in the evening. She was hesitant to call me, because she didn't want to, catch me when I'm grouchy or falling asleep. And I was napping, but the fact that they needed me and I could do something for them, I told her, I'll be right over. And I hopped in my car and I drove over there. And I'm not all that technically savvy myself, but I sat down on the carpet in front of the TV, and I figured it out. And I got the TV all up and running and connected the cable and hooked up for them. And they were so happy just to get that, you know. And then I didn't just leave, you know. They thought I would just leave and go back, you know, because I have a busy day and stuff. And I sat down on the couch and I talked to them for about another 2 hours, just laughing and talking about the camping trip and my sister and the awning and all that. And I left there feeling so good. Just that little thing, just being able to do, you know, that they could call me and I would be there for them. That was just means the world to me, that I could do that for them, that I could give back to them, that they could count on me again. That is the best thing about being clean and sober now. It's not the money, it's not this YouTube channel, it's not the money I make from my artwork, it's not the girls I've dated, it's not my apartment or my cars and my bank accounts that I've gotten since I've been clean and sober. It's my family. And it's those moments right there that are the best part of being clean and sober. Recovery is possible. I was a full-blown addict. I mean, full-blown, using everything every day for years, for 2 decades. And I've been completely clean and sober since October 23rd of 2006. Recovery is possible. Have a good Saturday.